Oh, howdy guys. Today I'm going to be talking to you about memory failure, or the 7 deadly sins of memory. Okay, they may not be deadly, but they are referred to as the 7 sins of memory. The first sin, or memory failure, is transience. This is when the memory fails quickly at first, but then more slowly over time. So there are two types of transience, and I'll give you examples of both. The first type is retroactive interference. This is when something you've learned damages an existing memory. An example of this would be calling your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend by your current significant other's name. The next type is proactive interference. So this is when a current memory impairs information to be stored later on. An example of this would be the exact opposite of the previous example. So you would be calling your current significant other by the name of your previous partner. Ouch, wouldn't want to do that. The next memory failure is quite possibly an instructor's least favorite of the 7 memory sins. Absent-mindedness. This is a simple lapse in attention or daydreaming, as you saw in the beginning of the video. I was looking right at the camera, but I simply just wasn't paying attention. Sin number 3 is called cat got my tongue. Blocking, that's what it's called. Blocking is the failure to retrieve information even though it's available in your memory. It's more commonly known as tip of the tongue phenomenon. Moving on to number 4, we come to memory misattribution. This is where our brain, more specifically our frontal lobe, has assigned a memory or an idea to the wrong source. A perfect example of this would be the memory game that we played in class with the black flashcards. Myself in particular was very confident in the position of a particular card, but to put it quite simply, my memory lied to me. I was wrong. It wasn't there, and then I didn't look so smart. But I knew in my head that that's where the card was. Just didn't make the right connections. The next sin is suggestibility. This memory failure occurs because our brains have the tendency to incorporate misleading information from external sources into our own recollections. The video of the car wreck experiment that we saw in class is a great example of this. Another example is recovered memories from victims of abuse. The intense trauma of the experience can cause victims to remember the event possibly the way that someone else wants them to. Another memory failure somewhat related to suggestibility is bias. We see bias every day. It's all around us. But if you just want to see clear bias, turn on the TV, turn on any major news channel. There's your perfect example of bias. People sometimes distort memories based on previous knowledge or beliefs, creating a new memory, and that's bias. The amygdala is responsible for our final memory sin, and that is persistence. In cases of extreme trauma or stress, the brain chooses to try not to remember that event. It's much more pleasurable to think about a positive experience, so that's what the brain attempts to do. That covers the 7 deadly sins of memory. I think I'm going to go return to my daydream.